We're on.
Yay, we're on. Hi. Saturday, another podcast. Develop your mindset. Number 84. We have other people in the room. Yes. Number 84. um, Today it's going to be special as usual. We talk about stuff that, as you guys know, stuff happens in the company. We go through a lot, as you guys go through a lot. A week is a pretty good time for seeing a lot of, different varieties of stuff. And definitely today we have different. And we're going to talk about stuff, and we have a bunch of questions, and it's going to look good. Um, I'm ready to go, and Marshmallow, uh, Louise is almost ready.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Ready?
Yeah,
You're
man.
gonna say hi?
Yeah, hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Develop Your Mindset podcast. As always, it's good to be here and be able to share knowledge and really cool stuff with you guys so that you guys can do some good stuff out there. So
Awesome.
without further ado, we can go ahead and get started, man.
All right. So yes, as usual, this week was a little bit hectic. A lot of working. We're not gonna talk about the work because that's a given. Everyone, if you work a lot, then you have more. If you work less, then you have less. And that's that. Number 84 is special because we're getting closer, step by step to 100. I'm looking forward to see the 100. And this one goes like I think it's very personal. Everybody takes it a little bit different. They see it differently. They analyze it a little bit differently amongst in your deeper yourself. And this is something like that. When you listen to this, you're gonna be able to kind of match it to your um, thinking and an experience. So the first one goes like communication, right? We're going to talk about that and deep analysis and follow up. So those are very crucial, very important points for if you are connected to a group or I don't know, like if you are not by yourself, if you and also you're connected to people, and you should always pay attention to those people and to because whatever you are doing, it's a people oriented um, business or whatever business that is. We're gonna definitely need others to do more because we can't do everything. So I hope you know that. And we all have weak points. I hope you know that too, because I know for me, I definitely know my weak points, and I always push myself into those uh, areas. But I also know that I'm not the best in there, and I gotta kind of pull back immediately when it's necessary, when it's needed. That's that. And communication is very important. You need to learn communication. You need to learn how to open your mouth and ask, and then you shall receive. You've heard that term, and that's very, very true, because if you don't ask, you're not receiving anything. Once in a while you do, but kind of like fall into once in a while. Otherwise, you have to communicate, you have to ask, you have to receive, you have to ask again. It's a back and forth deal. And deep analysis is definitely you have to analyze the words you use, the things you say, the stuff you think and you want to do. You have to analyze everything. It's a very good thing to have that kind of um, mindset and like understanding. And follow up is very important also. You do things, sometimes you forget about it, you just go by about your business and you forget to follow up. And you have to always go ask, did you understand? Do you know? Are you doing okay? Do you need any help? That kind of follow up. And also, if you're doing something by yourself, like I'm do by myself a lot of things, I have little note. I have I if it comes to a point where it's like really important, I open my journal. I write in there, and then 5 months later, I go back and I open that page and I read. Like, what was I thinking? Or that was amazing. Oh my God, I forgot about that. I should do that. That kind of deal. So it's very crucial points. These are important because this is happening to us. Maybe not all the time, but it does happen. When it happens, you gotta wake up to it and then really like take it seriously and fix it. Otherwise, no one's coming to do it for you. So what the hell? I do it for me. Um, Sometimes I feel really good. Sometimes I feel not so good because I was like, shit, man, I could have done this 3 months ago and it would have been all done already. I didn't have to deal with it now. I could I could put my time into something else, but it's okay. And yeah, number 84. You guys, as you guys know, this is jewelry company. We have website, we have social media. Luis is going to put all the links down below. You guys can visit our website and tell us what you think. We're always updating. We're putting new designs and everything like that. So yeah, let us know. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so communication, deep analysis, and follow up. So I think right here he gave you like the perspective of being like a leader, being someone who's like in charge of a company, from that perspective, from that standpoint, as far as like communicating with the people that you work and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't have that experience, so I'll talk more about like working for a company as far as that goes. How communication functions in that manner, and so communication, I believe, to go even deeper into that, it's not just simply about just communication in general, but effective communication. Where there's a profound connection between uh, the whoever's in charge here and whoever is on the receiving end of that communication. So there's got to be some sort of level of trust, comfort, and really a strong connection between the two individuals. That way, both individuals can open up in the proper way, and that way, everything is communicated through, whatever the topic is, whatever the conversation's about. Everything's said comfortably. As opposed to when a communication, when there's not that much trust, there's not that much comfort. It's very easy for one individual or the other to start holding things back and not be fully transparent because maybe from the employer side, maybe he just doesn't is scared that maybe the employee is going to leave or something around those lines, or they don't want to come off as a mean person or something like that. So it's important that there's an understanding as far as like who you're working with, and you actually understand them to such a degree where you can effectively communicate with them. And of course, in order to do that, you have to listen more than you actually speak, because through listening is how you understand that person. You understand like how they see the world. You understand their motivations, you understand their drive. And so that the communication is far more effective, and it can actually produce some sort of result instead of you just explaining something and transferring information, which could be effective if the communication has to do with teaching something. Maybe you just want to convey information, but if you want actually to create change, then that's a whole different type of communication you have to execute there. So communication is very important. And yeah, of course, deep analysis, as far as like whatever actions you take, I think it's very important that you understand that you always analyze everything that you do. I think there's always value in like knowing exactly like what you're doing, whatever moves you're making. There's always something there. And so even in the things that maybe you're not currently doing right now, but you might have done sometime in the past. I think it's still a great idea to go back there and dissect some of your experiences that you might have had with maybe perhaps newfound knowledge that you currently have now. You can go back and analyze those things with a much more mature, much more intelligent mind, as opposed to back then when you weren't as smart, you were just sort of doing what you thought was best. And so I think that's extremely helpful. And of course, follow up. It's always important to follow up as far as like, communication goes, and of course follow up with whatever it is, whatever goals you have in mind. Always stay on track, and go back to them if there's something that you had in mind that you wanted to do. Follow up with yourself, and always make sure that you're doing those things. If not, then right now would be a good time to do it. And yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think what you said was right on point about communication. We always talk about you have to, when it's important, you have to close your mouth and open your ears. That's very important because sometimes your mind will tell you so many things and you just don't act on it. That's you. Whatever comes in your mind first, you shouldn't act on. Whatever it comes first in your feeling, you probably need to act on that. But because your mind has its own mind, right? It's nonstop. It can go negative, positive, up, down, left, right. It has no barriers, no rules, so to speak. And it just goes really, it could go very angry, it could go very happy, has no boundaries, like you don't act on that. You just really collect yourself, and then you have to open your ears pretty much to understand how to analyze it, and then analyze it, and then so yeah, that was very, very important point. Hopefully you guys do that, because you'll go much further with that than without. So the next thing, you want to add anything on that?
No, we pretty much.
All right. Frustration and unhappiness and control. Man, those are loaded words, right? Frustration. Everyone is frustrated for something, right? You're probably trying to screw something, a piece of wood, maybe a drawer or something, and it's not working. It's freaking frustrating. And frustration is a feeling where when you want something and it's not happening, when you want to finish something right now and it's not finishing, that feeling comes about. And how are you going to control that? I don't know how to control frustration, man. Is there any word for it? You just do it. You just don't get frustrated. You stay mildly frustrated. You don't start using negative words. You just go through it, and hope is not a good word, but hopefully it's gonna you're gonna come out of it with some kind of resolution, and the main thing is don't get too frustrated. Stay mildly frustrated and stay in control of your mind, of your frustration, and deal with it and finish it. When you learn how to do this, you most likely going to finish a lot of things. Sometimes it takes too longer than you would like to finish, but sometimes you maybe want to leave that project or that thing and then come back to it. So yeah, control your frustrations. Definitely, unhappiness is, like you were saying earlier, things not going your way, that's gonna probably take you to a place where you are unhappy. You want to be happy, but the thing with this is, like, you can actually function unhappy or happy. Those are feelings where you're liking. Not everything is your liking. Not everything is my liking. I would love to see 2 websites kick ass. But you want to call it I'm frustrated, call it what you want. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna make it happen. So I'm going after it like I'm not gonna stop. And I'm gonna do my best to make that happen. I'm gonna go through my frustration. Basically, I'm gonna go through it. I'm going to make it happen, and whatever it takes. I have a lot of means to make that happen, and I'm going to use all those means. My talent, my company, my people, my me. You call it time. Uh, like focus, determination, everything I'm going to use to get out of my unhappiness and make things go, make things work, and control. You would love to have control in your hand when you're driving car. Maybe that's a good analogy. You have you know you want to have the steering in your hand and feel like you're in control. If you're the passenger, you don't have the steering in your car, you're like fucking like going for the ride. So the control is in your hand. Something bad happens, you can hit the brake, hit the gas, turn the left or right. um I don't know, you probably need to trust someone if you're not in control of something, and hold and just do your best to keep that person in control, to be in control. You gotta control yourself, you gotta control the situation, you gotta control as much as you can, and then whatever else is not in your hands, you kind of have to help that thing or person uh, to do a good job of control. And pretty much this is very plain of explaining the way I see this thing. You can go so many different directions with this, but yeah, control your frustration, unhappiness, and control your anger. You control you, because out of control, you're gonna get some pretty good success come about. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So frustration and unhappiness and control. So yeah. So as far as like frustration goes, yeah, I think that's one of the emotions that will just it'll impulsively arise. Depending on what you're doing. Perhaps like you said, perhaps things aren't working out, or you're facing some sort of adversity, or is just not going your way, and so it's very natural to just get frustrated at the moment. And I think, like with any other emotion, I don't think it's you shouldn't fight to suppress it or fight it or try to deny that it's there. I think it's a very good signal, just like any other emotion. It's a good signal of like something's not right here, and like there's usually a fundamental issue there, whatever is causing the frustration. And so I think it's important that you actually as far as like for me goes, it's good to really hone that emotion and really try to decipher it and try to see like where it's actually coming from, because I don't think you just want to just avoid the emotion altogether and just try to ignore that it's there, because if you do that, then you're pretty much telling that emotion that that emotion is stronger than you, and so you're pretty much giving in to that emotion because you're trying to avoid it. You're not facing it head on. And so, and just like anything everything else we've been talking about, it's important that you actually understand that emotion first before you even try to move on. And so it's good that you spend time with it, because when you spend time with it, you get to understand it. You get to see like, okay, like why is it there? Why am I feeling this way? And you can pretty much treat it as a trigger, something that triggers you in some way. And so
Mhm.
it's important that you actually start digging deep into it, and of course try to take as much responsibility as you can for that emotion, because it is you the one feeling that emotion ultimately. And so I think it's important that you take responsibility. That way you can take responsibility for whatever response you decide to have with the frustration, because that you can't control. I mean, you can't control the frustration just coming in, but you can control how you react to it and what you do after that. And so I think it's important that that you spend time with it. And of course, things like unhappiness, um, yeah, unhappiness it's something that will happen. Of course, when you know pretty much byproduct of being frustrated, you just won't feel happy, or you're gonna feel um, depending. It really depends on how you're able to manage and handle frustration. Really, I think with experience, uh, you might be able to separate those two and not have it be a byproduct. So you might still be happy, but still at your core, you might still be happy, but you may have this layer of frustration over because something's not going your way, and so. But yeah, I mean, unhappiness is just something that could also impulsively just happen, where you just don't feel at peace, you don't feel calm, you don't feel present. You feel the opposite of those things. You're pretty much in your head, you're overthinking, you're just worrying about things, and it's just pretty much the opposite of what happiness would be. And so ultimately, you do have the control as far as, like, how you respond to it, how you react to it. And for me, I would say try to understand it and spend time with that frustration. And of course, do whatever it is in your hands to do and change whatever you can. But it could only go to a certain degree if somebody else has that power to also make a change. Then you do your part, and you let the other person, the other individual, do theirs with whatever it is that they have to do. And so, yeah.
Alrighty. Let's move on to the next goal and what it matters. I mean, two words, the front and the end, pretty much. It how hands they wash when you're washing, it rubs to each other. It's kind of like that. Goal goal should matter, and what matters is the goal. Now, everything in between you have to build it, right? Like a building, floor by floor, everything that you need to make a building functional, high-rise building. That's what I'm talking about. And so the goal is to build the initial thing that you decided to do, and then what matters is the goal. What do you have to do to make the goal go forward? Now, none of this. We are in Los Angeles downtown. None of those buildings around us was built. The building that we're sitting in, none of these buildings were built with frustration, with anger, with hatred, with not understanding, with confusion, with none of that. None of that was there. Anytime any of that feelings will show up, that feeling, that whatever that is, it's a company working to build the building, it's a person, it's a software, it's a machine, it's whatever that is, that would get eliminated because the goal is to finish the freaking building. So whatever it takes, you're gonna do. That's all it matters. You gotta fucking do it and finish it, the building. Otherwise, what is the goal? To have a window without a building, or we have to have a building without window? What is the goal here? To have a building with a window. So what matters? We need to have a window, we need to have a building. Focus, determination, and you want it. What you want wants you. You go after it. It's done. You have it. So focus on the goal and don't worry about the rest. What matters? The goal. We all have things to do. We all have we want to be home. We want to be in nice cozy bed. We want to eat breakfast right breakfast time. We want to eat lunch when it's lunchtime. And on stuff that we want to do on the right time. But when you have big goals, everything goes out the window. What matters is the goal. If you can handle it, then that goal is not going to be pretty much coming to fruition, because without you, the goal is not going to happen. You're going to make the goal happen. So when you have a goal, you are the person. You are the captain. Whether you are riding the ship, or you are working on the ship, or you are the builder of the ship, whatever is your role, You are that important to 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 have that ship to get to the goal, to the destination. And pretty much, it's a big symphony. Everything, everyone's gonna play cohesively together. Otherwise, it's gonna sound like shit. You know, to have the symphony sound beautiful, everyone has to be professional, has to know what they're playing, and has to play their role, and has to play, and then it's gonna sound amazing. That's the goal, to sound amazing. So what matters is the goal, and that's pretty much that's what it stands for, man. Kind of like, this is how I see it, because I see results when I think like this, when I do it like this.
Okay.
I've had years in the past where I didn't see it this way, and I did not work for me, not at all. I don't know. Maybe it's working for you guys, but good luck with that. It didn't work for me. You know, this is how it worked.
Yeah.
How do you see this?
Yeah. So I mean, I think it really depends, like where you are currently in the stage of your life, really. Because sure, this type of thinking can work extremely well when when there's something that you really want really badly. Like you've already found something that really means a lot to you, and that you're willing to do whatever it takes to really devote yourself fully to do something like that. And so if you're currently there right now in your life where you've already found something, then it's very good idea to just focus on that goal and just go all the way, and really ignore, like, things like frustration and things like that that may arise in your path, because those things will just pretty much slow you down, and keep you stagnant here and there, and so that's not good. And so you want to be advancing to some degree. However, if you're in a stage of your life right now where you haven't found something like that, and you're currently like pursuing, you're trying to see where you fit, what is it that you really want to do, and that you're willing to go full out, then in that case, I would say it's actually a good idea to pay attention to these things, because if you start to pursue something and then you start to see like it's just not working out, you're just not feeling it. I'm pretty much not a big I don't like I don't really support that idea of like forcing yourself to do something that you're trying and you're trying, but like it's just not, like, you're just not feeling very connected to it. um I'm not a big fan of doing that, of really forcing yourself to push yourself in such a way, if it's really not connecting with you and you just don't feel like this is something that you want to do long term. But everybody's situation is different. Perhaps you have to do it because you have something on the side. Maybe you're currently working at a job, and you just perhaps it's not really of your liking, but you may need to you may need money, maybe to like keep yourself alive, or maybe you're working on some sort of a side project on the side, and so you need money to fund that project in order to go and eventually go and do your thing. Maybe you're doing different projects, trying to see which one, where is it that you want to actually put your focus on, and so you make small sacrifices here and there to make that happen. And so I think it really depends, like what is it, what are you trying to achieve with your actions, and I think that ultimately will determine like what matters and what doesn't, because these things are inevitable, like feeling pain, struggle, that's going to be in every journey. So there's just no way, even if you find something that you really love and like, that's still going to be there. But you have to pick something that you really like and love. That way, when those things arise, they don't really matter, because you have a very strong goal, a very strong purpose to achieve. And so that purpose, just seeing it happening and developing, is much more exciting than than the pain that you may be currently feeling right now, because something here went wrong and stuff like that.
All right. Um, Next is future, present, past. Yeah, so future, present, past. Let me start the opposite. Past. Usually, past is something you did, you found success, or you didn't find success. That was in the past. Usually, normally, past means the olden time, in the past. Olden time means old. Old means you don't need it anymore, most likely, and you need to throw it away. Or if you wear old clothes, you don't feel good. If you drive old car, it never feels good. If you eat old food, you might get sick. So old is not good. So the past is should be out of the picture every time, anytime, all the time. That's how I see it. The present is very important. The present, you gotta worship the present, because the present is now. Every breath, every moment that you're alive, that's like it's happening now. And you have to pay attention to the present and then be present. Don't be in the past in your mind, or be in the future in your mind. You should be on the spot right there, whatever you're doing, whatever is important. You have to be so focused on the present. Pay attention to the present. Whatever I say, it's going to be sound about the same, because I'm going to go round and round and round in a circle about the present, because it's such an important thing. You have to pay so much uh, gratitude to be alive and to be here and to the present, and you're part of this time. And just you're adding on to the masses of the consciousness. um, the future is, we all want to be have probably a piece of land, or an island, and call it Varuj Island. And we want a lot of things in the future, and a lot of the things need a lot of work, a lot of focus, determination, and that might not even come intuition. Whatever you probably want to treat the future like uh, a concept, you know, like not a reality. Reality is in the present. Whatever you have, that's your reality. Whatever you can have, that could come to intuition, into reality. And that's how you should treat future. It's important. The future is important. The goal is always in the future. And with the present, you're working hard towards the goal, towards the future. When you get there, then there's always going to be the next future. So you kind of have to see it in your mind and then treat it that way. um, just make sure that you don't pay attention to the past, because it's very old, and you don't want old things. you know that's pretty much how I see this.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna disagree with this one.
All right, let's do it.
I don't think the past itself is invaluable, and that you should just completely disregard it, because those are your roots. Those are ultimately those are experiences that you went through, and I think and all of those experiences ultimately will shape who you are right now at the present. So uh, who you are right now is due to the things and the decisions that you've made previously in the past. So I think that in order for you to move forward and be able to accomplish things in the future, you have to understand the things that you've done in the past and the decisions that you've made and the experiences that you've been through that could have shaped the way your mindset is currently right now. Because I think that, in order for you to improve and to become better, you have to understand yourself first. You have to understand where you're currently at right now. You have to understand, your level of growth, and what you're missing and what you already have. And so in order for you to do that, you have to go back there and actually see what you've been through, what you've accomplished. I think most of us, and mostly like things like gratitude can also come from the past, because you understand the things that you've done, and that could be for other people, that could be for yourself. Sometimes we just tend to forget the things that we've actually accomplished and how far we've actually came. We focus on the present, and the thing is that sometimes, maybe you're in a situation right now in the present where you pretty much lost everything, and so the present currently doesn't look very pretty. But you remember that back in the past, perhaps you were in a similar situation and you were able to come out of that, and so you're able to rekindle some of that energy and some of that experience that you went through, and so you're able to bring that towards the present right now, and be able to use that effectively to and perhaps you might even do it even better now, because you have experience, you've done it before, and now you could even improve on it and create such a more effective strategy moving forward. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and the present, I think the present is amazing. I mean, the present is really right now, and that's it's good to be very grateful for the present, because right now you're in the you're breathing, you can concentrate on things like that, the breathing, the things around you, the people that you currently have right now. you know there's a lot of gratitude to be expressed right there, and things to be excited about and stuff like that. And so, but I think the most powerful here of all, I think it's really the future, because I think what you're really my opinion, what you should really do is really concentrate on that future, because I feel like that future is like it's like a magnet. Like you want to achieve that, you want something to look forward to in the future, and perhaps right now you don't have it. Maybe right now you're not in a very good situation, and the reality isn't that great, but that future can be a glimpse of hope. It can be a glimpse of like there is room for you to improve. There is something to go after. And so every action that you take right now in the present can be, it has a purpose. It's not just you doing random things throughout the day and hoping for something to happen, but you take every action right now very calibrated in order to achieve something in the future. Achieve a very a compelling vision for yourself. Of course, you can decide whatever it is that you want for the future. Maybe you want um, to own this, a car, a house, whatever, or maybe you don't want any of those things. Maybe you just want to live a happy life, have a good family, and something around those lines. So you get to decide whatever vision makes you excited, and pretty much. And it has to be very exciting. That way, it's very magnetic, and it can really pull you in order to take action moving forward.
Where am I going to start from? I had like 15 things I wanted to add when you were saying things. Everything you said, that's amazing. It works like that. In practical life that I went through, it didn't work like that. People my age around me, they gave up, a lot of them. And they can do so much. They can contribute to this humanity, to their family, to people around them so much. They just gave up. The reason is they're stuck in the past. I could have been this person. I could have done this and I didn't do it. What matters in the past is the crashes that you go through. That means I don't want to be this person anymore. I want to change. I don't want to do it like that anymore. I want to change. All those things kind of matter. But those moments were the past reality, the past presence. Now, the present is always matters, because when you're going through the present, it's happening, it's live, it's now. When you make that decision and you don't change, you don't go back from it, that becomes your integrity, and then it becomes you. So what happens? That's left in the past. Now you change. You're constantly changing yourself into better version of you. I hope, and I hope you're doing that, because um, better version of you meaning you're becoming the master of yourself, because you need to know, you need to not think and just do and get it and do it the best. So those the present is amazing, because everything you want to do, you want to call somebody, it's in the present. You want to pay something, it's in the present. You want to get paid, it's in the present. um, you want to make a decision about something, it's in the present. Everything is happening is in the present. The experiences you had, most of it doesn't mean nothing, because life is not the same. It's different, it's ongoing, you know it's never happening the same. Few things happen sort of the same. You just have to be cautious and careful, but that's, if you learn that, then you don't have to be in the past anymore any longer. You can be in the present. The future, if you don't do it right in the present, the future is not coming for you. It's if you have good plan now and you execute today, tomorrow, next day, next year, the same intensity like right now you're doing, the future is bright and happy, and we don't know exactly how it's going to turn out, because you can't control. It's like an ocean. Sometimes the waves are bigger, smaller, or there's no wave. We don't know. So you just deal with it every day, and pretty much, yes, the future is important. The future is the goal. Everything's there. You just operate full capacity of looking far and hoping that you're gonna get there, and you don't. That's okay, because you know there's no guarantee that you're gonna succeed 100%. So um, I don't know. It's not easy to explain. I guess this is how it came out, and hopefully you're gonna kind of figure out for yourself. Just be in the present, I guess. Anyways, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean it's a valid statement for sure. I would just say like try not to base too much of your mindset and the way you see life in general based on just your own experiences. I think it's important that you look elsewhere as well. Look at other people who may not be in your circle. Look at how they've lived their lives, and make a call accordingly. Once you've seen many perspectives, not just the ones that are very closest to you.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good perspective. I do everywhere I go. Every when they open their mouth, I do. When I listen to a book or read, I do. And I watch a movie and I see the story in it. I do. Um, but everything that I'm doing is in the present too. Again, it's not happening in the past or in the future. We don't know if tomorrow we're gonna be here alive. We don't know. Why don't you do it today and don't worry about tomorrow? When the tomorrow comes, you can do it again. You know.
Yeah.
End of the day, it comes to the crashes that I spoke about, because those are the most powerful moments in your life. That's when you change your perspective, your mindset,
Yeah.
and then that's gonna matter, and that's gonna stay in the past anyways. When you move on from that point on to the future. All right, so I guess that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Next is determination, obligation, and duty. Know your strength. All right, so we all have strength, and sometimes we don't work on it, and we don't get the best in it. So if you want to become a skill set person, you probably want to read my book that Louise wrote here, and you would understand what it takes to become a skill set person. uh, Determination, do you want to become one? You have to have determination to want to do it, to get up when it's tough. You're still determined to do it when it's not your liking, when it's hard, when it's those are the moments people kind of like don't want to deal with it anymore. But all the good things happen through diversity, through like hard times, through tough times, um, and this is when everything happens. Obligation. What is your obligations, man? Is it for you to have just clothes on and food to eat? Is it for to take care of your family? What is your obligation? You need to know. Um, I know my obligations. And your duty. What is your duty? Soldiers, they have to protect the homeland. What is your duty? What are you going to protect? You have to figure out for yourself. Um, know your strength. We all need to know our strength. We have a lot of weak points. We have strengths. So we have limited time. Always we talk about this on this podcast. Use your time into your strength instead of your weak points. You can go much further that way. Um, Maybe you can delegate your weak points with other people, that when you find their strength points are stronger in that field, and then you give those to delegate those to that direction, and then you work on your important points with your strength, where you're doing better work, better job, better results. So pretty much in a business life, in like wanting to do it, it's kind of like you explain it this way. Now if you want to sit and discuss about this, it goes down to the rabbit hole. It's very different. Basically, I don't know, you're good at that. Why don't you say it, and then maybe I can uh, going down to the rabbit hole, saying, looking at it in a different perspective, dimension.
Yeah, so determination. We've spoken about determination a lot here in the podcast, but I mean, determination is pretty much, you've been really like rock solid as far as like whatever, you're out there to do. So, whatever you set yourself out there to accomplish, you have a goal, you have a purpose, well, you're determined, and pretty much that determination means that you won't stop, no matter what happens, like almost to a certain degree where you're really willing to die. Uh, to the extent that you're gonna accomplish that purpose, like, so it becomes really your life purpose at that point, because you're determined and you're willing to make it happen no matter what challenge arises. And so it's very important that you get determined once you do find something that you really desire, and that you really ultimately want. It's important that you're determined. And I think it's uh in order to really find that, you got to think about your values, and really what you value in life. And really, perhaps with whatever purpose you choose, you might end up helping other people as well. And so you got to think about that, those other people as well. Maybe it's also your family, and the people around you want to help them as well. And so there's a lot of determination there involved. And so it's important that you have all of those in place. That way you understand exactly, you know, why you're doing it and who you're doing it for. And so, yeah, I think this goes hand in hand with your obligation and your duty, because to some degree, it kind of does become that. It's pretty much you're the one. If it's your vision, if it's your purpose, you're the one who's in charge of that. And I think it's important that you not only manage your own self, and you stay on track with whatever actions you're taking, but for the most part, if it's a big purpose, you will have a team involved, helping you out, accomplish that purpose, whether that's through, you know, usually it would be through a business, but in a business environment, you're going to be working with other people. And so you have to make sure that, you manage them as well, and you become their leader, and that they understand exactly, what the role is within this vision, within this purpose that you have. And of course, understanding your strength will ultimately, give you that advantage over, potential competitors out there who may also be after the same purpose that you are, or who might be, trying to compromise that vision of yours, because they want to get there first, or they want to do it better than you, or they just have a different way of doing it. And so, yeah, I mean, you really have to fight for your purpose at that point. And so, it's important that you're determined, and that you treat this as a duty, no matter how you're feeling, because there's other people out there on the same journey as well. And so you have to really think about that and know what your strength is. That way you're playing, at your strengths, and you're giving yourself the highest possibility of you succeeding. And of course, once you understand these things, you can understand these things in other people as well, and you can get all of them in the same page as well. So understand, like, your teammates, like, understand their strengths. And once you understand that, you can understand, like, how determination and, that call of really of duty works. And so you can pretty much implement that into your teammates as well, depending on, what their own goals are, of course, because even though everybody's going for that purpose, each individual has their own motivations as well, and you have to understand what those are. That way, you can align those motivations to your life purpose. And of course, that's really the ultimately the job of the leader, whoever's in charge of the big vision, to make sure to convey that properly and articulate it in a way where each teammate actually truly understands it deep down. Like, a good exercise I heard somewhere, when I was studying, is that it's a good idea to have your own whoever's helping you out, to reiterate that vision for you, like, just to see if they actually understand, like, what's going on. And so that way, you're sure that this person actually understands, and it's not like they just have a vague idea of what they're doing, and it's like, it's not clearly stated. So I think, this is very important.
I think that was pretty good analysis of that whole thing. Hope you guys, if you have any questions, please leave comments. Would love to hear from you. Um, I don't know. I don't have anything to say. That was pretty good. Um, the last question. As you guys know, this is Develop Your Mindset podcast. We kind of like want to talk about how you could develop your mindset about this, whatever we talked about. What's the point? Um, as usual, it's going to finish with that, which is develop your mindset on initiating and take full responsibility. What does that mean? That means when you become part of a team, when you become a leader, you become leader-like, you have to initiate stuff, things. Something has to have, how do you say, something has to start from somewhere, which is has to have a born. Is that the right word? Like when something born, like a flower born, like a baby born, like a idea born.
Yeah.
You have to initiate that. So whoever that person initiates that, almost like the newborn starts, and now that thing needs full attention. Like you have to kind of slowly raise it up into becoming something important, something that could change you or the work you're doing, the goal, coming closer to the goal. So that becomes your responsibility to care for that thing that you initiated in the first place. You cannot just initiate things and go disappear. Somebody else is going to do it for you. That sucks and that's fucked up, because in my life that happens all the time. And a lot of the times I don't want to deal with it. I just drop it. And it's not cool, because I lost time and hope with that. And that's gone. And but when I initiate something, that means I'm serious. I really care about that, and I want to do my best to care about that, and that's going to become my responsibility. And when it's my responsibility, when it's 11:30 at night and my eyes are shutting down, I need to go sleep. I start eating something, so keep myself awake a little bit longer to make sure that tomorrow I'm going to continue in the right mind, right place, good place. That is my responsibility to do it. My sleep is not that important at that moment. My responsibility becomes very important. So if I'm not serious, I don't initiate shit things. If I initiate something, that becomes very important for me. And then if I'm relying on my weak points on people that I have, then that becomes part of the responsibility for me to push them forward. Whatever I initiated should come into fruition. That's, you have to develop your mindset on this. You have to have the mindset of, don't start something you don't want to finish. If you start something, it becomes your responsibility. You have to finish it right. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small, whatever size they are, it's kind of works the same. uh, you have to understand it, and then once you do it, that's how it's going to go. Develop your mindset on initiating and taking full responsibility.
Yeah. So develop your mindset on initiating and taking full responsibility. I mean, yeah, I think once again, I think I'm going to say that this really depends on where you currently are and your currently in your life right now. So yes, I think it's that's a mindset that you can approach where you pretty much initiate something and then you make sure that you finish it all the way through, uh, no matter regardless of what happens. However, if I think it really depends on how you want to really treat this. I've really had that approach in some things, and then I've had other approaches in other things when I was a little bit younger. When there was still things that I didn't really know if I liked them or not. So I pretty much initiated them, and later throughout the journey, I figured that this isn't something that I want to do long term. So I pretty much just dropped it and moved on and did something else. And I think it's really I think right now with the possibilities that there is for you to pursue so many things, that can either be an issue or it can be something great, because
There's definitely confusion.
because
Yeah.
there's a lot of routes you can take now, and there's so many paths, and with the growth of really uh, the easy access to knowledge today is really it's enormous. You can really pursue anything really online, and it's really easy. I mean, and then you have the library too. You have books, and there's just a lot of things, courses online, and there's just so many ways that you can really pursue anything that you really want. And so I think it's good, that you go and if you're really confused and you really know what to go for. I think it's great to go and try things, and I think it's okay to drop them if they're just not connecting with you, or perhaps you're throughout the years you're changing as a person, you're changing, and because you're changing, your values are changing, and perhaps these values don't necessarily align with whatever it is that you're doing anymore, and so you might just want to drop that because it's not fulfilling you anymore. And so I think ultimately what really matters is that you're happy and that you're fulfilled and that you're doing something that you ultimately you're passionate about. And so if you have those things, I think you definitely should continue doing that thing. And no matter what's going on, if it's fulfilling you, if it's making you feel happy about it, you're feeling like this is your purpose and you're feeling extremely devoted to it, continue doing it. And regardless of you know what other people tell you or how you may be feeling in certain moments when you face struggles. If you feel happy, fulfilled, and you feel like this is your purpose and this is where you want to make an impact, definitely take the responsibility and do it all the way.
Yes, that's very, very correct. But I want to add one thing on that. Whatever Louis said is important. One thing I want to caution you guys is everything it becomes habit. Just be careful not to develop a habit of dropping something, starting something else. Next thing you know, you're 40, 50 years old. And then it's kind of like you're running out of time, because we're not going to live forever, not even 300 years old. So we have finite of time. Whatever you do it right, you do it good. You're going to see the fruit. But you wanna know what kind of fruit you like. That's the thing, If you like apple, don't plant a peach tree. So that's pretty much where you need to, know what you're doing. But you don't have forever. I've seen many people in my life where they dropped and moved from one project to next, from one idea to the next, and that didn't serve them at all. And after their passing, their kids kind of stopped searching, looking, and they were stuck with doing something they're not too fond of because they were afraid that they would end up with like their father or uncle or whoever that person was. And that has its own repercussion. Just be careful. Um, just understand that you can do it, but you can do it only so many times. Don't get develop a habit of doing that because that's not going to serve you and after you passing. So develop your mindset on that, and that's very important. Know what you like, know what you want to do, and go for it. Just understand that struggle is guaranteed, success is not. And pretty much with that, I'm going to close the number 40, the opposite, the 84, number 84 podcast, Developing Mindset, and hope I hear from you guys. Leave comment down below. Me and Luis would love to hear from you guys.
Yeah. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching another episode. I hope you guys learned a lot from this one. Yeah, there was a lot of information in this one, so feel free to watch it a few times or just skip to whatever part you feel like it's most relatable to you, relevant to you at this point in your life. And so yeah, uh, there's going to be links down below so you guys can check us out on social media. There's going to be links to our books if you want to download our book or version of our book. It's going to be down below so you guys can check that out. And of course, man.
Awesome. That is very good.
Yeah.
And appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Always. See you next week.